And I guess just the last thing, just on a different subject, just can Von Miller's presence be at all overstated, perhaps, or I don't know, it's not understated for certain, these 6 games into the season, based on the impact that he's made and what you folks hoped he would do when you got him back in March?
Well, no, I don't think it can be understated at all. I mean, he's an elite player. He's brought a mindset to our football team. He's taught and brought a servant leadership type of approach to our football team, and he's truly a special human being, and we're happy to have him.
Thanks, Sean. Enjoy the bye week.
All right, thanks, John.
Okay, Sean, thanks for joining us here. You used some dime for a change, and had a few 3-man rushes. I know how much you love diving into strategy for us, but
let's
maybe
talk
you can
analytics, Mark. This is something new for you, right? Let's do something totally out of the box.
Outside the box, yeah. So maybe you could just comment on the defensive coaches mixing things, how they mix things up, and tried to show different things, and that side of the game plan for them.
Yeah, sure. No, yeah, you're right, Mark. I thought Leslie Frazier, the defensive staff, really came up with a good game plan. They threw some dime personnel out there. They changed some looks up front. Did some different things there, and I mean that's what you got to do against an offense coached by Andy Reid and a quarterback of Patrick Mahomes' caliber. So, they present a lot of challenges, and I thought our defensive staff did a great job with the game plan, and the players, let's not forget them, they had to execute, and that's the key part of it.
And then the second thing, just Reggie Gilliam got a good number of snaps again. Kind of what do you like about some of the things that he brings works his way onto the field?
Yeah, I mean, Reggie's mindset, his attitude, he embraces every and any role, special teams included. And then, he brings a certain presence where you can do different things with him, whether it's in the backfield or out on the line of scrimmage as well.
Thanks. Have a good week, Sean.
Thanks, Mark. You too.
Hi, Sean. It's Jay with the Buffalo News. You guys were healthier yesterday than you probably have been since week 1, but along with that comes some maybe tougher lineup decisions. To sit Zach, what went into that decision, and just in general, when you have to deal with those healthy and active players, how tough is that on a week-to-week basis to make those calls?
Yeah, those are tough decisions for sure, Jay. We try and communicate the truth in those situations to those players, especially the ones that are not hurt in this case. They're healthy scratches, right? So Zach's played really good football to this point. It's nothing he hasn't done. It's more of wanting, from a game plan standpoint, number one, but then also needing, felt like, some insurance to Dawson's situation coming off of the injuries he was coming off of.
Excellent. And then I know you kind of briefly mentioned earlier, Spencer, you didn't have a lot of an update. After the game, you maybe said there were a couple other guys that maybe were dinged up. Do you know of any other injuries that came out of the game? Any updates on any of those guys?
Yeah, just I think, we've talked about Boyer, Jackson, and Benford both came back in. Non-issues, it sounds like. Kumro still dealing with the high ankle. Obviously, he didn't play yesterday. And then I think Taiwan has a little bit of a hamstring right now. So, but all in all, we came out fairly well. So we'll just continue to take it one day at a time here.
Yep, very good. Enjoy your bye week, Sean. Thank you.
All right, man. You too, Jay. Have fun in Nova Scotia.
Coach,
Mookie, are you going to Nova Scotia? Are you going to Nova Scotia, Mookie?
No, I'm not going to Nova Scotia. I'm going where you going. Wherever you going, Coach, I'm going.
I'm staying right here in Buffalo, baby.
All right. Well, hey, we can power out, discuss some things over the bye week. But, Coach, great win. It is Victory Monday. Just assess your team victory and how they played yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, the way that they prepared, first of all, I think needs to be mentioned that they prepared extremely well. They played hard. They were intense. I thought the leadership on our football team stepped up during critical moments of the game, at halftime included, and their voice was heard, their presence and play was felt in the game as well. And I thought it was a really good game by two really good and strong teams.
No doubt. And Coach, I hate to go back to it, but how much did the 13 seconds thing help you in that last possession with Teron there getting the pick?
Yeah, I mean, we have been there before. We've shown that we've won close games and executed at a high level in critical moments of those games, which is important. So those are things we practice. This is its own team, right? This team is its own team and is developing its own identity, really.
One more, if I may, Coach, in the trenches, Jordan Phillips was a monster out there on the defensive side. And Roger Saffold, nobody's talking about that, where Chris Jones had to move over to the right, over your right tackle, because he couldn't get no smoke over there with Roger Saffold. Just care to talk about how well your team played in the trenches there.
Yeah, O-line and D-line, I thought played their best game of the year, which is what you have to do, in particular as we move forward here. Great plans on both sides by Coach Cromer, Coach Washington, and the players were big time factors in the game on both sides of the ball.
No doubt, Coach. Enjoy the bye week, much deserved. And I'm coming over for brownies and ice cream too, since you're going to be here.
Hey, Sean, I was wondering just what you made of Kaiir Elam's performance yesterday and what he's done through this point of the season.
Yeah, Catherine, it's I told him after the game, for a young player to maybe have the game he had a week ago, which, as he said, was not up to his standard, and then to be able to reset, come back, and be mentally tough and have the game he had yesterday, in particular that pick in the end zone in the first quarter, was a huge play for us. And that just goes to show you how mentally tough he is and how dedicated he is to improving his craft and the play and his play every week.
When he came out for a bit, was that just you guys want to keep rotating those rookies, or what was the thought process behind that?
Yeah, Coach Butler just, trying to keep his pulse on where things were and changing some things up. And Christian's played well also, although he's coming off the injury where he hasn't played for a few weeks. It was good to get him back in the mix as well.
Yeah, and I know you've touched on this before, but just as they keep kind of helping each other navigating this rookie season, what did you see from them, like getting ready for a game of this magnitude and then, getting through the game itself?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting to see the look in some of their eyes, some of the young players, those two among the other rookies as well, where the intensity of the environment, you play in college and it's one thing, and it's certainly intense in college, especially for those guys coming from the big schools. But the NFL is in those moments is definitely different. And I think those guys knew that they came out of a heavyweight fight, but they benefited from going through that experience and the playing time that they did get in those in that game yesterday.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, AJ Feldman here in Rochester. End of the first half there, obviously, the Chiefs get the ball back with a little bit of time left, go down and kick a field goal. How disappointing was it to see that, especially given how similar it was to how the playoff game ended last year? And then what does the team need to do to make sure that doesn't happen again if you're presented with a similar situation?
Yeah. We had there was two plays there. You're trying to prevent a chunk. They've got one timeout left. You're trying to prevent a chunk, but also keep them in bounds so they use the timeout. We were between two calls. We went with the one. If we'd made a tackle, we may have been able to, help have them burn the timeout. Second call, we have a specific call specific to that exact situation, and we got to put them in that position so that they can execute. So some things we can definitely do better there in terms of putting them in position.
And then you talk about yesterday going into the bye week on a good note, the win, everybody feeling better. For a player like Dawson Knox, who obviously has dealt with, injuries and maybe hasn't had the start of a season that, he'd like because of all those reasons, just how good is it to have him go into the bye week on a high note and, get something to build on and not have to sit on maybe a slower start to the season than he would have liked?
You say Dawson, is that what you're talking about?
Dawson, yes.
Yeah, I said it after the game, AJ. What he's gone through, what he's been through off the field, the way he's persevered on the field, the way his teammates have supported him and the love that they've shown him and his family. I think it's really nice to see him come through in a big time moment of a big game like that in terms of the big moments. Just special to see that happen. And now he gets to at least take a deep breath and get some rest and spend some time with his family, which I know he's looking forward to.
All right. Thanks for your time, Coach.
Yep.
Hey, Sean, Alex Brasky with the Batavia Daily News. Looked like you had some early success in the running games, specifically running behind Mitch Morse. Can you talk about how that strong start played into an overall good day for Devin Singletary in the running game, and how Mitch Morse plays in to the overall success of the running game?
Right. Mitch is one of the leaders of our football team. I thought he had a real good game yesterday, against his former team, in fact, in this case. And, Devin also, I thought, ran well. He got into a good rhythm, and it was in a good lather. And I thought really Coach Dorsey did a really good job of keeping us into a two-dimensional style offense where we were harder to defend throughout the entire game, really, including one of Josh's runs on the last drive there to win the game. So just all in all, I thought our offensive line played really well, and the backs, in this case, Devin, executed.
Any plans for the bye week outside of grinding over the Packers?
I live a boring life. I'm staying in Buffalo.
Fair enough. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, I was curious, kind of going off that, why do you think the run game was able to have the success it did yesterday, especially early? What do you attribute that to?
Well, I think it, number one, starts with game plan. Coach Cromer and Coach Dorsey put together a good, solid game plan, as well as Ryan Wendell, our assistant offensive line coach. And then the players went out and executed. It's got to start up front. And you can have great game plans, but if you're not winning at the line of scrimmage, if you're not moving people off the line of scrimmage with good pad level or winning your 101s, better said maybe, then it makes for tough sledding up front in terms of getting the running game going. But well schemed, well executed, and the guys really did a good job of taking ownership of it.
I know we've talked a lot about it over the last couple of weeks and getting it going. Is that a positive sign for you going into the bye that it was able to get going, especially with Devin in the way that it was yesterday?
Well, I think so. I really do. It was an area that we've been focused on improving, and sometimes those things take time. And it goes week to week. Sometimes you're going to have it, sometimes you aren't. It's just like anything else, but you've got to be able to pivot if you don't have it. Just like your pass game, if it's not there, you've got to be able to pivot and find another way to win. And I thought yesterday we were very two-dimensional in our approach.
And then this is off topic, but we talk a lot about Leslie and everything that he does and how he should get this head coaching opportunities and all that. I mean, this defense, to have them playing this way, and obviously the staff that you guys have, does he get enough credit for everything he does? I mean, I don't know. Should we be talking about Leslie even more, like what he's able to do with, that defense with the guys who've had injuries and all that?
Yeah, Leslie does a tremendous job. He really does, and I'm glad anytime you guys can mention him and shine the light on him and the work that he puts in, the job that he does. Our defensive staff, including Leslie, have done a phenomenal job. Really, our staff, on all three sides of the ball, have done a phenomenal job. The chemistry, the way they collaborate and communicate has been phenomenal. I think they've built a good rapport with the players to this point early in the season, albeit. But I think they've done a phenomenal job.
Thanks, Sean. Enjoy the bye.
Yeah, you too.
Hi, Sean. I was curious just watching Josh play yesterday against a Steve Spagnuolo defense that obviously threw a lot at him and the way that he overcame it down the stretch. As a defensive-minded coach, and I know now that you're well into your head coaching career, you probably don't even consider yourself as much that anymore, but just being able to pick Josh Allen's brain, one of the best quarterbacks on the planet, how much does that help you, your staff, from a defensive perspective, knowing what one of the best in the game can do on a day-to-day basis?
So if I'm understanding, Matt, what our defensive staff learns by being around Josh, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, like access to him, the relationship, the conversation. You talked so much about the conversations you have with a lot of your guys. How much does that help, having an elite player on the other side of the ball help that defense?
Oh, immensely. I mean, I've learned by being in our quarterback room and listening to the quarterbacks talk and diagnose defenses and what would give it offense problems. And so you're around that with Josh. I'd say the same thing probably with Vaughn. You pick each other's brains. You learn from one another on the field, off the field, and the players do the same thing. And as coaches, we do the same thing. I think that kind of cross-pollination helps a lot in terms of advancing and evolving.
Mm-hmm. And you were talking about, being in a situation before, like 13 seconds and learning from it and adjusting. Isaiah McKenzie's been in spots where he's had struggles before, tough day for him yesterday. How do you anticipate him responding, and what did you see, that maybe might have gone wrong for him yesterday?
I mean, I think maybe people see that play in the red zone, that first drive, and I think you have to understand what we were trying to really get done there, number one, and then number two, understand big picture wise, he was coming off of being out for a week there with a concussion, so it's his first game back, and that takes an adjustment period as well. And so we have full confidence in Isaiah. Didn't probably have the production that a lot of people expected him to have, but he's so mentally tough and such a big part of our team. We expect him to be back for the Packers game and play really well.
Thanks, Sean. Have a nice bye.
All right, you too.
Hey, Sean. I had another question actually, just kind of about this rivalry with Kansas City. I know you've talked so much about how it's good for the NFL when these games are as exciting as they are, but I was curious, big picture too, when you're so focused on preparing your team, getting your guys ready, like how much are you able to step back and kind of appreciate that bigger picture of what this is growing into in the NFL right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were a couple series into the game, and one of the officials on the sideline came over to me during a timeout and said, "Hey, this is unbelievable." He's like, "This is a heavyweight fight," and for an official to say that, a veteran official at that, you just know it's just an awareness, I guess, around the NFL and a respect for, across the teams here, the two teams that were involved yesterday, and so it's a healthy environment for us to be in. We've built this and got this to a spot where we're going to be hopefully able to sustain it, and very thankful to be around it. It doesn't happen everywhere. I think we've got tremendous teamwork and collaboration inside of our building, not only on the football side, but also the business side and the operations part as well. And so I think it's just been a great team effort and great to see the Buffalo Bills, at this level and on a consistent basis.
What is it like to be a part of something like that where, it's so much of what you guys are doing here, but it also is being involved with another team, but like the whole league is watching basically? Like, what is it like to kind of be in that situation?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, you get a lot of text messages after the game from other coaches who watched the game on television or people who were just fans watching the game, and how much they appreciate the quality of the play that was going on specific to yesterday's game. And I think that's what you do. You respect, we'll get a chance this weekend, maybe watch some other teams play more than we get normally. And you respect when the game is played the right way and at a high level. And that's what really you shoot for every week. It's, you're always trying to get there, get your team's quality of play to that level each and every week.
Thanks, Sean. Enjoy the bye.
All right. Thanks.
Coach, before I come over for
Mookie, again, you're coming over, man. Brownies and ice cream, man. Right? Hey, I told you I live a boring life. But I am looking forward to being with my family, though, Mook. So I'm not going to be able to have you come over this weekend. I promise them I'd spend some time with them. But I'm a boring guy. I work, I spend time with my family, but I love it. I'm looking forward to it.
I got you, Coach. I'm glad that I came back on so you can tell me that. I don't want to pull up and then there's crickets outside in front of you.
Yeah, I didn't want to have any gray area, between us. Like, hey, am I invited? Am I not invited?
Right. I'll come over. How's next Tuesday? Next Tuesday, we with the date, right? But Coach, Kansas City and the Ravens, right? Those are big wins. We know those two teams, they don't lose to too many teams in conference. So how big are those wins in conference regarding home field?
Yeah, I mean, two strong teams, well coached, one by Coach Harbaugh, one by Coach Reed, and you could take it to what Mike Tomlin's done with Pittsburgh over the years as well. And so we've been on the road the first 4 of the 6. We've played well on the road. We've played well at home, and we're looking forward to the Packers game here, to be able to be at home in front of our fan base again here in Buffalo.
No doubt. Hey, Coach, enjoy that bye. I'll see you next Tuesday, though, for the Browns.
I won't be there, man. I'll be working, but I will put it out on the front step for you.
Well enough. We'll use DoorDash.
Hey, Sean, now that you guys are through 6 games of this season, Josh Allen has a new franchise record for passing touchdowns through the first 6 games. How impressed have you been with his start to the season? I know you get to see it every day out of him, but how impressed have you been with his ability to really put it together when the team needs it most and be the catalyst for the offense and the defense too?
Yeah, I mean, he's the face of the franchise, face of the organization. And he's just grown leaps and bounds through his career to this point, Maddie. And it's been fun to watch, having, a front row seat to watch his development, watch his growth. He seems so comfortable in his own skin, off the field, on the field, his leadership, and his influence on our team, on our organization. Just really fun to watch. And as big as some people made the game yesterday, for him to continue to be who he is, and very comfortable in that game, again, says a lot about who he is and where he's on his way as a football player, and not only the face of our franchise, but the face of the NFL.
I love it. Thanks, Sean. Enjoy the bye week and enjoy the time with the family.
Thanks. You too, Maddie.
That's all for today. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Kaylee.